Hey, Matt.
Hello, Mike.
How would you like to build something from scratch to automate the doldrums of survival?
That is literally my favorite thing to do.
I mean, you want to do a podcast?
Oh, sure. Yes, let's do a podcast.
All right, let's do it. Welcome to Hacking the Grepson. Today on the podcast, we talk about programming and development and things related to that. And one of the things that Matt and I recently got into is this game called Factorio, which is not to be confused with Factorial, although maybe if you get deep into that game, there's more in common. I don't know. I have only played the demo, a couple levels of the demo, so I'm pretty fresh. Why would we talk about this game on this podcast, Matt?
Great question. Let's see. So Factorio came out in like 2016, but came off early access, I think, in 2020. And I didn't pick it up until like a month or two ago. People have been talking about it forever. So I tried it out. And one of the first things I realized fairly early on is how much it tugs on the same parts of my brain as computer science. And like not just from the problem solving perspective, but like the way that you're solving problems is very similar. Like as you get deeper into it, you're like, oh, how to do this is going to be more like a for loop, right? And like so, it's like building out really archaic kind of like circuit board style programming. But then you can get further than that. I just unlocked something called advanced combinatorics in the game last night. So,
whoa.
So it dovetails in nicely with programming, I guess is the short answer to your question.
Okay. Well, let's just step back a second, and I'm gonna say what I think Factorio is, based on my playing it for like a couple hours. Mm-hmm. You start off as this like engineer that is like crashed on, I don't know, an alien planet or something like that, and you have the ability to do pretty similar stuff to most other survival games. There's a bunch of resources on the ground. You can gather them, and then you can craft things. So, I mean, you could compare it to many other survival games like Minecraft, ad nauseum, where you are just trying to survive. It's like it's a survival simulation. But the cool thing about this game, it kind of reminded me of this one mod in Minecraft called the Create mod, which has very similar things where, using your pickaxe on a cube to get the resource out of it is a way to get the resource, but at scale it's poor. And really what you want to do is automate. So this game is all about automating the boring repetition of survival, of getting resources, crafting it to stay alive. And so like in the first couple levels, you're basically making a furnace to take like raw resources to turn them into resources you can use to build things. And as it digs the stuff out, you can just have it plop on the ground, but really it'd be easier if it was going into like a chest or something like that. But maybe you want multiple diggers to get stuff. So you want them to take their stuff and put it out onto an assembly line, a conveyor belt, so that it all moves all that stuff towards a single crate. And then how do you get that stuff off the conveyor belt into the crate? You got to build like a robotic arm to move it, et cetera, et cetera. And of course you have to power these things, which one of my favorite things in like level 2 is that you have to mine coal to use to power the mine thing that's getting the coal. It's like, in order for me to do work, I have to get food in order for me to do work so that I can get food.
Yeah, you have like your boots. It's a bootstrapping situation, right? It's like, okay, what do I need to go from zero to flying off in my rocket into outer space, which I think is the objective of the game. I am, I said, I'm like a month into it at most. I will say it has eaten up a lot of my evenings because it is I'm watching TV with my family, but it's not like it's like a sitcom or whatever that I can kind of background kind of thing to play on my Steam Deck. And I also find it doesn't stress me out the way some video games do. especially survival video games, and we can go into that in a little bit. And so I end up playing it late at night, too late at night. A lot of times, honestly, I need to get a little bit healthier about that. But I enjoy kind of just like solving the logistics of the problem. I'm like, okay, I want a battery. A battery takes what is it? It's like iron and copper plates, and I think it's sulfuric acid or something like that. Or maybe it's just sulfur. I think it's just sulfur. And so like, okay, well, to get sulfur, I have to mine it out of this, and then that goes like that has to convert into this thing. That has to convert that into this thing. And oh well, in order to do that, I need barrels and to package the oil in so it can turn into this, right? And on and on and on and on. And it keeps nesting down and trying to find ways of efficiently extracting what I need and getting it to where I need it has been an interesting challenge. It's like, do I have multiple individual stations? Do I spend a bunch of money on conveyor belts and bring everything into one spot and then go out from there? Some combination of both, which is what I'm currently doing. Do I use the train that I just finally figured out how to use last night? Right. So it's got a lot of those little fun, little logistical things. And so if you like solving those, as I do, really fun.
Yeah, so because I haven't played as much as you, but I did just finish playing this game called The Planet Crafter, which honestly feels not very similar in terms of the level of complication that I think Factorio probably gets to, but it's a similar thing where you land on an alien planet, and you need to eat, and you need to drink, and you need to breathe. And that's one nice thing that Factorio doesn't have. You don't have to eat or drink or breathe.
And if you die, you just come back.
Yeah. Well, and the thing with the Planet Crafter is initially you have limited resources, and so you're trying to find more resources, but then you realize that those are also finite, but that there is a way you eventually build extractors. And so the resources you need to make the things that keep you alive can now be automated. And then later on, you get drones, which I actually saw in an overhead. Like if you just play Factorio in the background and you just let the title screen scroll, it just loops through a whole bunch of like different scenarios. And one of them I saw was a bunch of drones.
I just unlocked some construction robots last night. I haven't gotten the ability to build them yet because there's other things that I don't have access to, or like I have to build up to. But I just got them. I'm very excited because I love games like this where it's like, okay, I have a problem, and then you solve that problem as like a baseline. You're like, I don't want to do this every day, right? For some definition of
programmers love automating away boring tasks.
Right. And so it's like, okay, well, how do I automate that? And it's like, oh, well, now I need to keep power going. How do I keep power going? All right, well, okay, I can take this coal and feed it into this claw. I can take my coal mining equipment, which uses coal to power it, or trees, whatever, or any kind of power. And then I can have that take the coal and put it back into itself as a power source so it can keep drawing coal when it needs it. And then I could take the rest of the coal and ship it up, right? And then like, well, this is an inefficient way to do it. So it would be really nice if I could have like a steam engine, which is one of the main things. And then you end up with like pollution, and like I'm sure that's going to factor in at some point because you can see it. But like I'm going all electric, and then having enough power for electric is hard. Because things consume a lot of power. And so I'm building a solar farm now in the game. It feels like a lot of these types of games, and this one in particular, is a lot of, okay, you can just sit with where it is now, but how do you make it more, how do you build stuff so you can build more stuff, right? I feel like I'm building a electricity generating machine in the game because electricity is the core thing I need. And I'm always just like, okay, how do I, because it powers everything at this point, how do I get the materials I need now to build all the things I want and have enough power to do it? Because you're always building up to the next unlock, right? These kind of games, and all the games I really like, have either unlocks or things that you find in the environment, like Metroidvanias, where it's like, oh, I got an upgrade, and I love that upgrade path. It's just a fun dopamine hit.
Yeah, it is fun to like start out with a meager unautomated system, and then like many hours later you have this like burgeoning metropolis of automation and connections and machines doing all the things for you. It's that act of creation like is a huge thing in a lot of these types of games. Another one that this game reminds me of is Played Up.
I haven't played that.
Played Up. If you ever played Overcooked or heard
Yes.
of Overcooked, okay. So imagine Overcooked, except instead of being like an arcade game where it's constantly trying to like make you fail as part of the charm and fun and tension, instead at the end of each day, like you order, you have certain number of customers. Once you satisfy them all, the day is over, and now you can upgrade and reorganize your kitchen to make it to have like better dishwasher or a faster cooker. You can also get conveyor belts, so you can basically build little automation things that then move that to a holding spot so that you can grab them so that you're not manually making them. And one of the achievements in that game is serve all the customers in a day without moving at all. That's
amazing.
Only possible if you have automated your entire restaurant, which is possible. And so that's like the ideal state, is that you are doing nothing except waiting for everybody to be served.
Yep.
Now, I haven't gotten that deep into Factorio. I don't know if that's an end game state, but that's part of these kinds of...
I think the objective is to launch into space on a rocket. I believe is I think they said something about that right at the beginning.
Okay.
And then
You're trying to escape, basically.
Yeah. Like, hey, get off this planet. So I want to compare this to some other games kind of like you are as well. So some games that it reminds me of in various ways, and then I'll talk about how I prefer this to a lot of those for this specific thing it's doing. Subnautica has a lot of this, like, hey, you crash on a planet and you need to escape, and oh, you have enemies and you need to salvage and build up this base, and then on and on and on. But it doesn't have necessarily that like feedback of like, oh, I need electricity, so I need to build a thing to generate more electricity, but now I need more things to build that thing, right? And it's 3D, which I'm not a huge fan of 3D. That's why Minecraft, which is the other thing I was going to mention, isn't huge.
The Planet Crafter is 3D as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Terraria is 2D, but it's
like the
more
2D
of like
Minecraft.
It's like a platformer perspective. I don't know what you call that.
Yeah.
Like original Metroid style view.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of these things, much like Minecraft does, for generating. I've never really played with much of them beyond like really basic circuits of if I press this button, open this door, so that I can control some things. But I know it does more. But I find that the lack of overview and the fact that it's 2D and it's completely 2D, it's not like 2.5D or anything, gets in my way of being able to really plan it out. So I really like top-down games, like your Zelda likes for things where you're building things. And I've played games like this where you have that perspective, but you don't really exist. Like I'm thinking like all the way back, it didn't get this detailed into circuitry and stuff, but like the game Black and White, which like SimCity, any of those things where you're just like building stuff out. I think they're really fun and interesting, but they don't have a character in them. Like I like controlling a physical being that goes around as opposed to being a god.
No, I'm curious. Why does that appeal to you more, even though you're basically doing the same thing?
When I'm just building them directly, it feels like work. I'm like, I am clicking the buttons to say, go build a thing here. And I'm not actually, but like, my guy is trying to survive. So it's something about that resonates more. So there's a game I really like and I've played for years and years called Don't Starve. That's a top-down survival game, and I love it, except my biggest complaint about it is I don't want to die. I don't want to start over every time. I want to build up like this city, basically, of Factorio. Oh, that reminds me, just real quick. I looked at the map last night in my game, and with the way that like conveyor belts and pipes are laid out, it actually zoomed out. It looks like a city. Like it kind of has that organic build of like, oh, here's downtown. Here's where you started, and I've got a suburb over there. But yeah, so in Don't Starve, you die, and you can build things to come back, but it's not always easy, and you die really easily, and things come to you to kill you pretty often. This game, you go out, and I have never been attacked in my base for just staying there. I only get attacked if I get near to one of the like bug hives that exist out there. In fact, I spent most of yesterday and the day before that in this game trying to get back my corpse after I died from one of those places. Because I just kept trying to like Leroy Jenkins it and just dive in and make it happen. And so finally last night I built up an arsenal and I like made a plan and I like had strategically placed gun turrets.
Yeah.
And so and then I got all my corpses back. It was like 4 of them by the time I got there.
What's on your corpse? Like just your
all
inventory?
the stuff I had, and I had a lot of
Okay.
good stuff because I was in the process of building things.
So now I should mention, and I think this is a key distinction, that you are playing the full game, and thus far I have only played the demo. And it's funny that you say that stuff doesn't come to you to kill you, because literally in
it does in
level
the demo.
2,
Yeah.
the demo, and this is what I wanted to get into, because while this kind of game definitely scratches that, I mean, once you get to the complexity level that you're at, where you're thinking like a programmer and trying to eke out every last little efficiency bit of the kind of loop of resource gathering that you're doing. Like in the demo, level 2, they send enemies at you. And that, I don't like that about the demo. That actually turns me off the game. And then in level 3, I actually died because I was taking too much time trying to figure out how to get my engine running, that the bugs kept attacking me and I ran out of bullets and I died. And now, so I don't know if that's like, maybe that's just a huge drawback of the demo, and they should really change that, because that's not selling me on the game. That's actually taking me away from wanting to play more. And what I did this morning is I actually started looking into save file modding. And so every save file in this game is just a zip file. And if you open it up, you see there's this one file called control.lua. So it uses Lua for its
that's fun.
scripting bits. And I mean, if you look through here, it's like a 500-line file, and it has functions like manage attacks, check ammo, check for player death, init. That's where I probably should put the stuff that I was trying to do. So what I was trying to do, I was like, okay, this game, at least on PC, not being played on the Steam Deck, but I'm actually playing on a Mac. Thank you, Factorio people, for having. I mean, it's been out so long that they have it on multiple platforms now.
You
but
have
yeah,
more
I can just open up.
You have more willpower than I do if you have it on your Mac, because I will not install it on my computer because I'll end up playing it during the workday, and I need to not do that.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's a fair point. But yeah, like it has functions just like any other app I might write, and you can just go in here and start messing around with stuff, which I really like. And this game seems super open to modding. Like, it has a huge mod community. I mean, it's on the main menu. Mods are like one of the buttons.
They just released an update on Steam Deck to make some of that work better, I believe. I think it was this game that I saw that in the patch note. So it's kind of nice.
This is like a game definitely made by, I mean, obviously made by a programmer, but like made partially for other programmers and developers who know that a game like this is perfect fodder to jump in and start messing around with stuff and modding things. And yes, people have made mods that get rid of the enemies. You can't use mods in the demo. So I was trying to figure out how to hack the save game to change that, because yeah, that leaves a really sour taste in my mouth for this game. Like, I want to like this game. It seems really cool, but the fact that they're throwing enemies at you in the demo when I just want to play around with the mechanics, like, come on, what the heck, guys? That was a poor decision, I think, on their part.
Well, I think a lot of people like enemies in games. I think it's kind of a driving factor for a lot of folks. I am not one of them.
It's like a timer.
I'm with you on that. I don't even like timers. I just want to play around.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like, why is there a rush in the games? Like, let me just play around at my pace. I will say, I think in the demos, they are intentionally putting you next to bug hives so that you get attacked more frequently. The further away from those you are, the less likely you are to get attacked. At this point in my game, I have no bugs anywhere near me, and so they don't bother me.
I mean, can you go out and like destroy the hives so they can't?
Sometimes.
Spawn?
So I had one that was too close to a place that I wanted to build because it had like iron or something that I needed, and they were like right next to it. So I killed them. That's right. I admitted on a podcast that I killed them. I killed the bugs, and then now that area is where my solar farm is actually.
Yeah.
But that was the only one that was anywhere near my like main building site, and so that's a big part of the game. I think is being cautious about how you build and where you build. I'm like, okay, there's no bugs near here. Great, I'll build over here. This is safe. Oh, hey, I could put up some walls around my city and some turrets to defend it. So like I kind of was trying to turn. I never got this far last night, but I was trying to turn my corpse run that I kept having to do the last couple days into a tower defense game. And I was like going to build up like a spiral of walls with gun turrets so that I could just get over there.
Yeah.
And I got kind of close, but then eventually I killed enough of them where I just went in with a bunch of grenades and took out the guy that was spitting acid at me.
What a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
if
you can take out the like egg sack things,
Yeah.
then they stop spawning, which is nice.
Right. I didn't realize this game had a strong, almost like RTS flavor to it, almost like you're playing StarCraft. Like I thought this was a chill build a factory game, not a.
And it mostly is. I think you can choose to do those things. I generally have left the bugs alone, as I would in real life. But if I need resources and they're defending them, that's where it comes into play.
Yeah. Okay. Well then,
I'm just going to unlock a tank next, and so that I don't have to worry about it again.
Okay, so basically what you're telling me is that the way the demo is structured is not necessarily representative of what the game is actually going to be.
They're trying to show you all the aspects of the game, right?
Right.
And defending yourself is part of that, and attacks is part of that. It's just not as big of it's as big of a part as you want it to be, really.
Yeah.
And like I could have just left my corpses there after they died, and been fine, and just built everything back up. I still have a pretty efficient city going with all my buildings to get all my stuff. So it's not like it's difficult, but it's time consuming. And I'd rather spend that time trying to recover my corpse than building things again.
One thing I wanted to say about the bugs or the enemies, like I'm trying to imagine, like, what if you were programming and every, I don't know, couple minutes, like parts of your code just started kind of disappearing if you didn't do something about it. That's kind of what the bugs feel like. It's like I'm over here trying to write my program because I just started playing this game. I'm like, okay, wait, where are the resources? Wait, what do I need to build stuff? Because this game is full of unlocks and crafting things that build upon each other. And it's like, this is level 3. I'm just trying to figure out how this game works. And I also have to, pull my strap out. Like, come on. So thus far I've been unsuccessful in, removing the random atrophy of my code that happens. But I mean, it's like I'm not trying to say that the bugs are a bad idea or that they're not like an interesting tension for the game. It's just that I was not expecting that to be such a huge part. So I think when I go back to it, I will, if I don't figure out how to turn them off entirely, I will just give it a real try now that my expectations are different than what they started with. So.
Yeah, I definitely view the
cool
enemies as more of a complication to be worked around than a primary game focus. And I'm sure there are people that go in this game and just start wiping out the bug nests. Like, how far out can I expand? And that's great. I like games like this because they're open and like I have a goal, but also, after I was done with my corpse run last night, I was like, okay, I've spent several in-game days not tending to my city. Let me go through, do maintenance, and like, okay, well, that turned out to be a pain. How do I clean that up so that doesn't happen again? So like that's where I end up focusing because I love to re-architect. Like in my code, we've talked about this multiple times on the podcast, and I find myself in this game doing that quite a bit as well. And it's great.
That's awesome. I'm really excited to hear that you're so into it, and that makes me want to get into it more. So I will. I'm still hesitating on whether should I just buy the game because like I said, I think the demo is not representative, and so I should just just bite
Although-
the bullet and get in because
I do want you to finish the demo because I didn't. And there are things that I'm running into now, and I'm like, they don't give you a lot of direction on some things. It's like, here, you unlocked pump. I'm like, what does pump do? Pumps, right? How? Why? What do I need it for? So I have found myself going to the official Wikipedia, or their official wiki quite a bit. And in-game, they have a Factorio wiki that you can get, like, some information about the different things. Like, okay, what do I need to build pump? But not what it does necessarily. Although I'm looking at it now and it makes perfect sense as to what it does. And I don't know how I didn't figure that out.
it pumps, Matt. It pumps. Yeah. No, I think the in-game, like, the tutorial, at least in the demo, like, the way it walks you through is very well done. And the kind of, like, in-game wiki, as you were talking about, seems pretty solid. Because not only does it have, what is this or how do I do this? Like, they also have, like, images and animation showing what the things do. So this game has been out a while. I'm sure it's gone through a lot of iterations. They've done a great job with this game, and it's one of those games where like you could go super spreadsheet mode on it. Like, I was just watching a video on Balatro, like high level Balatro, and people treating it more like a spreadsheet game where you kind of know what you want to do, but you need to put it in a different modality so you can kind of figure it out and then go back to the game and actually apply it.
I've done that a
I can
couple
see how you
times
could do that with a game like this.
I've done that a couple times on Balatro. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to
you've
beat
reached
this
that
thing.
level, huh?
I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I have one hand left, and I need to get this number. What is the most efficient thing I can do? And so that's an interesting thing. But I will say that this game has stolen me away from Balatro for now. Although I play Balatro on my iPad and this on my Steam Deck, so they're slightly different. Like, and it depends on how chill I want to be and how focused.
Yeah, I wonder. Does this game exist on mobile devices?
I don't.
That seems
know,
dangerous.
But because you walk around in the game as opposed to just like point and click, I don't know that I would like it. It would be particularly difficult in fights, I feel like.
Yeah, it definitely has that. It's not like a super graphically intense game. It's not even 3D, like you said. It's just like 2D overhead. So it's not. It's more probably like just the more entities running stuff over time, kind of like in Minecraft. Like if you create a huge redstone project that has a bunch of things moving and processing, like it could slow down the game. But so far, I haven't gotten anywhere near. I mean, have you noticed any kind of like performance issues as your city has gotten crazier?
No, which has been surprising and impressive to me. I like I said, I've been playing this on the Steam Deck, and the Steam Deck, I don't particularly like playing it plugged in. Like, the whole point of it is it's supposed to be mobile, right? So I generally don't. Most games burn through that battery like hard, especially 3D rendered games. I find myself, and honestly, that's kind of a good thing sometimes because it keeps me like, oh, I should probably log off, stop playing this game. This game, I have not run into that problem nearly as much. I will go and it'll be like 3 a.m. before the battery's like, hey, I'm at 10%. You might, and I'm like, oh crap, how long have I been playing? So it does not seem to be particularly resource intensive on my device.
Here's a random question, just to tie it back into programming. Like, is there anything that you wish Factorio had that, like, an IDE had? Like, do you wish Factorio had a debugger so you could follow the chain of events to see where things aren't as efficient or something like that?
Yeah. Now, there are ways.
Okay.
So the thing I've been playing with, the thing that actually caused me to bring this up to you was when I unlocked circuits and I figured out how they worked enough to like put conditionals on things. So like I can hook this chest up to this conveyor belt, or not to the conveyor belt, to the claw arm that puts things on the conveyor belt, and say, don't, I want to make sure I always have 250 coal in reserve or whatever. So you can set a limitation on it, and that's really fun. And you can also do kind of the reverse of that, which is what I did as a sample. It's like, okay, how do I know if I'm out? Oh, this thing can now set a sound. It can set an alarm. It can set, and so I have like, when I run out of coal in this one niche little place where I actually tested this out, it sends an alert, and I'm like, oh, I got to go run over there, which is fun. So that I had forgotten to mention that. Now, what is that? What would I like it to have that it doesn't? I think there's a couple things. One is, like you said earlier, this is clearly by programmers for programmers kind of situation. And you can see that most clearly in the settings menus. They are just checkboxes
Vast.
on checkboxes on checkboxes. And I would love some organization in there a little bit. It's hard to find things. In particular, like I'm playing on a controller and so there's a lot of like corded commands to do things, and it's how do I do this again is not it takes me too many clicks to get to that point of like looking up the control. So but you can remap things, which I love. But like some more user experience considerations in the menus would be really nice. A debugger is a really interesting idea, and I think you could maybe build one with the with that circuitry stuff, which is why I brought that up. So that would be an interesting thing to play with. Also, I haven't gotten to use them yet because I don't have the robots with which to build, but I have now unlocked it. But you can have blueprints that let you like basically save like a block of stuff and like say, I want to make this, and then it'll come in and build it. Like the robots will come in and build it. So I can build the templates. I've made blueprints, but I have nothing that will build it unless I just go do it manually, which still requires all the things that I don't want it to need.
Yeah.
But that seems like that's where it's going to get really interesting from like a software perspective, because then I have reusable modules basically.
Yes.
So it'll be. I imagine I'm going to have a lot of opinions about things I would want to add in game as opposed to just like the menus when I get to that point, because I can already see, just having tried to use it a little bit, I'm like, this is going to be really interesting. So then it's like, how do I design a really efficient small module that can do this thing? Like here's a power station, right? It drops 8 solar panels with a solar accumulator inside and puts some telephone poles around it, so you have electricity being able to ship out. And it's like plop, this takes up 9 squares or whatever, and then go build it. That kind of thing will be really fun. But that's where I think a debugger is going to become really necessary.
Yeah, it's almost like like on a web page it would be like a reusable template. Like if you were clicking a button to make a modal pop up, that uses the same template, but you might add a different title or a different text in. But also, yeah, the idea were more object oriented wise. It's almost like you're making a class. You're making my iron mining class, and now I want to make an instance of it over here, and that means it has these properties and it can do these things, which is grab iron, process it, move it over here, kind of a thing, and then you just boop do the whole thing at once. That's awesome. I didn't realize it got that modular.
Yeah. And I haven't gotten to use it yet, so that's one of the reasons I'm saying stick with the demo, because I'm pretty sure that gets covered. I think they were about to cover it when I was like, oh, I like this game, I'm just going to buy it. Because it was on sale when I bought it, and it was like it was hitting the end of the sale, and I'm like, screw it, I'm just buying it.
Yeah.
The other thing I think would be really useful in game, and maybe this is where the robots come into play, is I want to be able to automatically set up things. So I was trying to build a like automatic gun turret creator that would, like, if my gun turret got destroyed, it would just plop out another one and then load it with bullets. But when it plops out another one, it's an item on the ground and it's not built. So I imagine that's where the robots come in play. But something like that would be really, because I'm lazy, awesome. And that's the whole point of this game in my mind is how can I be lazier?
Yeah, well, it's great because in the demo, one of the very first things it does, like it has like your engineers, he just like says things out loud as text on the screen, which is basically kind of a prompt of like what you should do next. Oh. Like I say, I could really use some stone. And then I go over and I start picking the stone. And after I do it for like 10 seconds, it's like, man, I'm getting really tired. There should be a way to automate this. It's like, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
He's saying what I'm thinking, which is a real, yeah. It's just, it's like the way that they made this game is exactly the kind of thing that like we as programmers have thought about so many things already, and now it's like a game based on that thought process.
I want to give one more shout out to the game on a mental health issue actually that I struggle with, which is I've been really having a hard time getting work done like in my day to day. We've talked about like writer's block for writing code, and it's kind of along those same lines. It's been hard to get my brain in gear. And this game, since I started playing it, I have been way more productive at work because I think I think it jump started that part of my brain again that I was stuck on. And like, hey, that's right. Solving these kind of problems, it's fun. It doesn't need to be tedious.
Yeah.
And so like I again start taking my instinct is generally to automate anyway. And so this game has re-encouraged me to do that. So when I'm running into a problem, I'm like, I don't want to do that at work. I'm like, well, can I automate it? Because building the automation is fun. And so thank you, Factorio, for helping me be a better employee.
That's awesome. That also reminds me, I was just at a thing where I saw Inside Out 2. I don't know if you've seen that movie.
Yep.
So somewhat of a spoiler for a movie that came out recently, but like, Inside Out is all about kind of making, I forget what the word is, but making people out of our feelings, like someone is joy, someone is anger, someone is anthropomorphizing our feelings. Well, in Inside Out 2, the main character is older and they're getting new feelings. And so new feelings are moving in that are more sophisticated, complicated. And so one of the ones they get is anxiety, and anxiety starts running the show, and it makes the character, everything they're doing, they're kind of going through some major life changes. And at the end, like their old, simpler feeling joy has to finally take the reins back after they were taken away by anxiety. And it kind of sounds like Factorio is sort of a joy for you, fighting the anxiety we all feel and allowing you to feel joy in a thing you're doing again, because we lose the joy, and initially programming is fun because it's new and novel and we haven't done a lot. And then eventually you do it for a long time and it gets kind of old and
it becomes
old
rote.
hat and rote.
Yeah.
Becomes rote. And you lose the joy. The joy starts going towards the back because it's harder to find pure, unadulterated joy in a thing like we did when we were younger and had less developed feelings. And so, I don't know. It just made me think of that.
I think a lot of that is because what we're seeing when we're first coming into programming is our problem solving is, how do I write this code? Like, how do I even do that? Once you get to the point where like when I solve a problem and I'm like, okay, well, here's what I have to do to write the code to do that. If I already know roughly what that looks like and I know and like I'm not gonna have to go learn a new thing, it's hard for me to do that sometimes. I just don't want to. It's not fun. I like this problem solving is the fun part. And when you're first learning to program is the problem you're solving. And then eventually it's, how do I automate this, or how do I be more efficient in my processes at work? Like it loses the joy. So yeah, I love that analogy from you. Good job.
I just had one final question about the actual full version. Like, is it a story that you're going through levels like an old RTS and it gets more complicated? No. So how does it actually start in the real game?
Very much exactly like it starts in the demo. You are dropped on a planet. You have nothing. Go.
And you just go, and it doesn't stop you at some point after you've done a few objectives. You just keep going forever.
The level thing is that it does in the demo is, so it's like, okay, you kind of get this idea. Let's go on to the next tutorial. Right.
Yeah.
That is not the way the game plays. The game does not have levels. It's just continuous.
Oh my God.
The closest I've had to levels is when I die. It's like you respawn in 10 seconds and I have to like restart my character.
Okay. Wow, man, that is not what I was thinking at all. I was like, oh, this game is like an episode. It's like playing StarCraft, where you beat like an easy level, then you go to a harder level and a harder level, and no, that's just the demo. Okay,
yeah. No,
good to know.
I have not had to reset my like I haven't had to start from scratch again since I started the game.
So you've been playing the same world essentially for a month. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think I chose to restart about a week in after I kind of got the feel for how to organize some things, because it was easier just to start it over and like apply those rather than trying to fix my mess that I had made.
Okay. That's very illuminating.
I want to make Factorio the way we do interviews for software engineering now. It's like play this for a month and then show me your city and talk to me about your design decisions.
Wow. Okay.
I used to ask people about solving jigsaw puzzles because I'm like, it tells me how you think. So why not, right?
Is this like the old like Google adage of like, how do you
would you move a mountain?
Cover all the manhole covers or something in the city? I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Well, Factorio, cool game. Demo, maybe not super representative of the full game. Good to know. And I think that does it for this episode of Hacking the Grepson. If you want to hear more discussions, we are at hackingthegrepson.com, and we try to put out an episode every other Wednesday. We do have the holidays coming up, so that could change, just FYI. But until the next time, we automate the next 30 to 45 minutes of your life by listening to us. We return you to your regularly scheduled lives already in progress.